Let's now focus on Libya, where tension over oil terminals is continuing. However, the country's National Oil Corporation has plans to resume exports from the contested ports. The oil company says it is assessing the damages and will carry out any repairs immediately. Forces loyal to rebel commander Khalifa Haftar have seized 4 of Libya's key terminals from the UN-backed government. Haftar does not recognize the Tripoli administration. The government has called for urgent talks to try to quell the tensions.
Because of the militias who were stationed here, Libya in general and the port in particular had been experiencing very difficult conditions. But I have hope for the future. Today we had shipments from around 103 stations. Our station is stable. We have around 1,200,000 barrels in stock that are ready for export.
We are following closely the situation in Libya, and here to lend insight into that situation is Ziad Akil. He's a researcher at the Ahram Center for Political and Strategic Studies. Given the current situation in the country, though, how close to a full-blown civil war is Libya at this time, Ziad?
Well, I don't think that Libya is, at this specific time, it's not any closer to civil war than it already was. I mean, the conflict is still going on. It's still very acute. And all the international efforts have been dedicated towards the agreement and towards actually trying to find consensus between the warring parties. But this, until now, cannot work. And there are definitely all the prerequisites necessary for a civil war. However, the only thing that kind of is keeping Libya one part is the fact that Libya still has enough economic reserves to actually maintain itself as a state while this conflict is going on. Libya would be close to a civil war as soon as these resources and foreign reserves run out. However, there does not seem to be any promising breakthroughs in the dynamic between the both warring parties in the east and the west, and pretty much without serious efforts to bring these two parties to dialogue once again, because apparently whatever the UN did over the past year and a half is not effective enough now. So without serious effort to bring them back to dialogue, then definitely in this case civil war will be something to be expected within 2 to 3 years in Libya.
Well, Ziad, you do talk about that lack of a breakthrough, and there have been both international and local efforts. But what more, though, could be done to prevent Libya from descending into civil war at this stage?
Well, I think perhaps now it's about time to start questioning what kind of modifications and alterations could be done to the political agreement that was signed in last December. I'm not saying that the agreement should be revised. I'm saying simply that perhaps there is 1 or 2 articles that could be reconsidered in order for things to simply so that there would be more political concessions and more compromise from different parties. Definitely trying to, or one party incurring more losses is much more beneficial than the whole Libyan population paying for the consequences of the conflict. So I believe that it's the role of the international community in specific right now to actually make sure that this agreement does not die and is amended so that it can perform and fulfill its function, because it's very, very difficult to try and work once more in a new agreement. And so this is what we have. Otherwise, there will be definite civil strife inside of Libya.
All right, Ziad Akil for us there in Cairo.